government shutdown that will probably already happen by the time this airs. So maybe a little of what I'm going to say is a tad bit outdated, but I think the conversation is going to be noteworthy. So the U.S. faces a government shutdown on October 1st if Congress cannot reach a funding agreement to keep agencies open past midnight. The Senate rejected a clean continuing resolution because Democrats demanded provisions to extend the Affordable Care Act subsidies and reverse Medicaid cuts, while Republicans insist on passing a bill without policy writers. In response, the White House has threatened mass layoffs, directing agencies to prepare reduction in force plans to pressure lawmakers. With both sides entrenched, the standoff is driven as much by political positioning as by policy, leaving little room for compromise before the deadline. CK, you are our resident expert when it comes to policy and the inner workings of the government. What are your thoughts on this? Is the deal going to get done? How far is this? And if not, how long do you think this shutdown will last?
Yeah, it's bold to call me an expert in anything but beer drinking.
Well, that's
But
fair. I think you know more than both of us on this. So out of the three of us, you know more. But compared to the average person, you're right. You probably know less.
Beer drinking.
pretty good at
you,
drinking beer.
you know
But
you know as much as the Bears are going to make the playoffs, which is little to none.
I'm walking off the set right here, right now.
I think we lost him.
no,
Yeah.
no, here. This is what I'll say. So Thomas Massey tweeted today uh, that the Democrats, right, passed this exact line for line bill under Joe Biden. All the Republicans voted no, all the Dems voted yes. Now, just because the author is, Mike Johnson, Donald Trump supporting, all of the Democrats voted no, and all the Republicans not named Thomas Massey voted yes. The problem is, with the filibuster, you need 60 votes for something like this to go through. No one's ever had 60 votes in the Senate. So it's not going to go through. It's not going to pass. And really, it's the best way I can describe it. It's theater. No one actually cares. We're going to get a
I
bill
was going to say
eventually.
that. Is this all BS then? If this is essentially the same exact bill and each side is just literally flipping, to me, it sounds like this is a bunch of BS and I
Why,
should
why,
lose
why are they
faith in my
flipping it
government.
more? They don't actually care about the American people.
They just can't let the other side win.
But there's more to it.
Okay.
This essential end part where there's like pressure and there's a clock this is the exact part where they start sliding pork in.
Ooh, I was about to say we're getting to that pork belly, and it sounds like we
Yeah,
are.
we are. So now I say, okay, you get my vote. I need this, this, and this. Okay, and they just sliding. So now this is the part where the bill increases by $200 billion overnight because we needed 16 more votes, and we promised all of these things for those 16 votes,
I got a
and the
question
debt
for you.
keeps chugging.
Is it possible to create a budget that's going to last 10 years and not like every 18 months or every year? This sounds so
What does that mean?
dumb.
Possible?
Okay. Do you think our current legislators will create a bill where they have to renew it every five years or every 10 years instead of every
No,
year or every
because
other year?
this doesn't serve the American people, but does serve them. Right? That's the same argument can be made about single line bills, right? Thomas Massey's been proposing one-page bills, for one part of government. Okay, DOD, one bill, and this is for all of the DOD. This is how much money. Okay, you need Medicare. This is the bill for Medicare. Okay, you need the bill for Department of Transportation for highways, things like that. Here's the bill for that. That way, it would eliminate all the pork spending, and you can just say, okay, this is important to me, fund it, and everyone who says agrees to it says yes. Everyone who doesn't says no. That way, you know who's for and who's against. There's no political chips in those, so no one wants to do it.
So so this just really grinds my gears. I was talking to one of my liberal friends over the weekend and having a conversation with him, basically saying, "Hey, my view is, and something we've talked a lot about on this podcast is that hey, politicians are corrupt, right? As soon as you join a political party, be the Democrats or Republicans, they bend the knee, whether it's to Mike Johnson or Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer or Donald Trump. That's it. You bend the knee. You are doing whatever they tell you to do. And yeah, you're going to do a little within your region of the country, not for the betterment of you to get reelected, so the party gets reelected in that district or in that area of the country. And then you have allegiance, your second allegiance, or maybe your first, is to whatever lobby funded your campaign. And so all it is just maintaining, paying back the lobbyists and making sure you stay in line with the party. Nothing else
Yeah.
matter. The people doesn't matter. The people don't matter, excuse me, what they're trying to pass, the longevity of America. It's all about the party and the lobbyists, and they just feed each other. Just like we were talking about with USAID or whatever the one that DOJ was trying to cut. It's like, oh, $40 million is going to like nothing, right? Well, the money's going somewhere. It's going right back into the pockets of the lobbyists. It's so corrupt, and I think this whole budget thing is just beyond corrupt. CK, to your exact
Just
point,
money laundering.
that's
We're
all it is, and it's
we're
so
we're
infuriating.
funding NGOs who in turn fund super PACs who in turn fund the politicians. All of it is taxpayer monies going in a circle to ultra rich. If you're a Democrat, like this should be your talking point is crony capitalism. The problem is the Democrats are doing it as well.
Everybody's doing it. And if you're just a regular American, whether this is your first time listening to the episode or to the podcast or your repeat offender viewer, if you have allegiance to a political party, like, hey, I'm always going to vote Republican or I'm always going to vote Democrat, just look into this. Do your own research and see how corrupt it is. And you're going to probably realize that these political parties just make you sick. They have lost all integrity. They have lost all the will of the American people. And it's almost like a business. That's what it is. It's just a corrupt monopoly that no one can regulate. All right, I'll get off my soapbox. I'm triggered, as the young people would say, or do the old people say that now? I don't know.
BG, you're up.
Yeah. Get me off this mic. I'm going
I don't
crazy.
know what people say anymore. I don't know. I don't. Yeah, some younger folks at work definitely say stuff these days, and I have no idea what they're talking about. So I don't know. To CK's point, I agree. There's going to be a lot of porking in this bill that's coming afoot. I think it's interesting that both sides aren't able to come to a consensus because the thing that's really interesting regarding the Affordable Care Act subsidies piece, at least as I understand it, is that the Democrats had actually written the date for those ACA subsidies to expire back in 2022 under the Inflation Reduction Act. So I think it's really funny that now we're coming to a head where the House is attempting and the Senate are both attempting to pass bills that were either exactly line by line or almost exactly line by line, and now Democrats aren't willing to pay ball for it. I just don't
Because it's
understand.
political theater. I
Yeah.
understand it.
Well, here's what I really don't understand. I don't understand any of these connections to funding healthcare for illegal immigrants at all. I don't. I fundamentally don't know why this is even a talking point for the Democratic Party when it feels like the entire base of the DNC has said, "Hey, we kind of agree with Trump a little bit that maybe some of these people actually shouldn't be here." So
BG, this
go
is
ahead.
politics. You
Yeah.
propose something so ridiculous because you know they'll say no, and that way you can get your 100 small wins in right before the deadline. They don't actually care if the bill gets passed or not. They know it's not going to get passed with this ACA for illegal stuff, and they don't care. It's a political win to say we're fighting back for you against Donald Trump. And then it's a political win to also go in and say instead of this ACA thing, here's 100 other things.
Yeah. No, I think that's generally right. I just don't know why they would be willing to have additional government workers furloughed or potentially completely unemployed.
Because the furlough is a joke too. Because no one's getting unemployed, and no one's even
Oh,
losing. They're
because they
not
do the
losing a
back
day
pay,
of
right?
pay. Yes,
Because they do the back
they're
pay
all
system.
getting
Okay.
paid full. They get a free vacation for this. Nothing. There's no consequence to this other
Remarkable.
than we're spending money and getting less work done.
So we should all work for the government, is what you're saying, and just be part of the problem. If you can't beat them, join them. But CK, how long do you think this is going to last? Do you think it's going to get passed on October 1st, or do you think it's going to drag out a few days?
2 weeks at most.
2 weeks at most. Okay, I think 2 weeks. Dude, I don't think it'll be that long, man. I think it'll happen.
Yeah, I think at very most 2 weeks.
I think like 3 days at most.
It will stop before any real consequence occurs.
I think it'll happen before football Sunday. How about that?
Okay.